Hey sisters, and welcome to the show. This episode is brought to you by Pure Spectrum CBD. Sirak and I have been taking CBD and we are loving it.
I'm holding the tincture right now. Tallene, can you open your mouth, please?
Now?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a dosage. Now, keep it there for 60 seconds. While she does that, let me tell you the great benefits of CBD for PCOS. Studies show it reduces cortisol, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation. You can go to purespectrumcbd.com now to order and use the code THESISTERHOOD, one word, at checkout for 20% off. Now, Tallene, hold it for 30 seconds longer while the sisters enjoy the show.
Welcome to A Sister and Her Mister, a podcast where we show you the real behind the scenes of how we balance the PCOS lifestyle in our marriage, gluten and dairy free. I'm Tallene, your fellow sister and registered dietitian.
And I'm Sirak, husband, engineer, and PCOS personal trainer. We're gonna make PCOS a little less overwhelming and a lot more fun.
Let's do this.
It's a little excessive.
Your hair is squished into a cap.
I've taken it to a whole nother level this week, and I have put a hat on.
Seriously, I want to cut your hair. You won't let me though.
But my hair is out of control. Sisters, here we go. This is what I'm basically working with.
If you're watching the YouTube version of this podcast, Sirak has an afro going.
Yeah, my hair is nuts. And like now when I sleep and when I wake up, because my hair is curly, there's like, my hair has been pushed up. So there's like bald spots showing at the side of my head for no reason. Because the hair has been pushed and I can't put it down unless I take a shower. Or I drench my head in just a bucket of water.
Oh my God. I kind of like it like this.
I mean,
it's a new look for you.
I like the length. It's just very
Disheveled.
hard to manage without fixing it up. And you cannot do that. I'm sorry. I heard a lot of spouses doing their husband's hair. And I'm just like, I haven't given up on life yet. Because it takes a lot of skill to get the fades right and cutting. Like anybody can buzz hair or just cut it with a thing, but to do it, the sides, the side hairs and like getting it all around the ear, that is art.
It looks
That's
very
why
complicated.
I love barbers and the ladies and gentlemen that do that kind of work. They're great at it. I respect them. You don't have a license, so I don't.
I wish you could see.
You don't have a barber license.
I wish the audience could see how squished your hair is because this cap is actually too small.
Yeah.
And it's like already too small.
Hats.
Now you have like a fro squished into it.
It's a dad hat, so doesn't have a lot of space. I need those lids ones from the early 2000s.
Funny. That is so. Oh, yeah, you do. Then it'll fit.
Yeah. Well, besides that, quarantine life is okay.
Quarantine, we're still in it.
Well, your nails, I should be talking about your nails. Your nails need to be
I look
done
so
ASAP.
ratchet.
You've been telling me, right?
Yeah. I do silk nails. It's not acrylic. So if it was acrylic, I think I could be able to like take it off because I saw YouTube tutorials on it, but it's silk and it's glued on and I'm stuck with it until this is over and it looks so ratchet. I can't even look at myself.
Well,
I just
can't.
And my hair is,
like.
my bob grew out. You know what? There are worse things happening around the world.
That's true.
We should move on from this.
These are just first world problems, but it's a lot of problems that people are going through. It's like, that's the thing with the quarantine. Like everything you have to be prepared for in advance. Like you can't just go to the grocery store. You can't just cut your hair. You can't like get your dog groomed, let's say, or do like any of these kinds of things. It's
humbling.
Difficult.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's humbling. I'm just like, okay, well, we're just going to have to make do and wait until everything, comes back together. Mm-hmm. We're just not going to have ketchup for another few weeks. We're not going to have hot sauce.
Yeah.
So let's move on from this awful subject.
Mm-hmm. All right. With all this quarantine talk, let's get into this week's episode, which is PCOS and sleep.
Sleep, the one thing we can get during quarantine.
I'm not going to lie. This is the best sleep I've ever had in my life. 8 hours every night, consistently. And I'm waking up like 8 a.m. early, sometimes earlier, and like full of energy, like ready to go.
It's awesome. I mean, I've been like this for a while, but
yeah,
not in college and stuff.
Taline's
because
been working for herself, so I've
been able to arrange my day accordingly. But in general, like life happens and you can't always get 8 hours. But quarantine life, you can if not everyone, but you can.
Yeah.
But for women with PCOS, we really struggle with sleep. And not just that, we struggle with fatigue throughout the day. And it's important to have a strict, sleep schedule and like wind down ritual to get optimal sleep, because women
Yeah.
with PCOS are twice as likely as non-PCOS women to struggle with sleep disturbances. And 80% of us have daytime fatigue. If that's you, raise your hand. But because of having low estrogen, PCOS women like us, sisters, we have something called delayed sleep phase syndrome. And this is something I learned from my favorite book, PCOS, SOS. And this is when your sleep wake cycle shifts later and you feel like a night owl. And then you go to bed late and then you want to sleep more when you wake up and you feel groggy. So, and then that turns into like fatigue throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
Yeah, and that really can be attributed to all like to bad sleep with all of these symptoms, because I mean, when you compare that to good sleep, so imagine like if you go to bed at night, you're falling asleep within 30 minutes of going to bed. And that really has to do with two hormones, melatonin and cortisol. We've heard of both. Melatonin helps us sleep, and cortisol is that stress hormone. So the balance of this, the way our body orchestrates these two hormones, really helps with the sleep cycle. So if they are not balanced correctly, then you're going to have like these,
Unusual like sleep, and
yes,
it's awful.
yeah, you're not going to be able to fall asleep within 30 minutes. And really, throughout a night, it's okay to wake up once, and if you're going back to sleep within 20 minutes, that's good. That means you're able to sleep good. But if you're not, again, that has to do with these two hormones in your body not optimally, balancing these hormones.
Yeah. One theory is that our melatonin receptors, just like our estrogen receptors, are damaged and functioning suboptimally. And our cortisol levels are abnormally elevated, as many of you with adrenal fatigue may find that cortisol is high at night. So you really can't sleep, and melatonin isn't high enough. So that also contributes to it. And you feel anxious, overwhelmed.
And they say melatonin and cortisol
Irregularities.
How do you say?
Say it. Irregularities.
Irregularities cause insomnia, which is 4 to 10 times higher in women with PCOS. Wow.
That's high.
4 to 10 times. Going to show you that these hormones are, affected that much for women with PCOS.
Yeah, we really need to buckle down on honing in on optimizing our melatonin and our cortisol.
Yeah.
And one way to do that is sunlight.
Yeah. Sunlight, when you wake up to it and when you fall asleep through, sunset, when it goes away, your body, like, it pretty much triggers melatonin to start being developed so that your body eventually goes to sleep when it's, whenever your usual 10, 11 p.m. Nighttime sleep is. I know a lot of you sleep at 2, 3 a.m. I used to be like that.
Yeah.
But, the night owls, I will just say I am a night owl. I love working or just like being at night, but
silence.
I'm not a morning person, but
Yeah, well, I love this thing about sunlight, because I didn't know it for a long time until recently when I read about it, that like the rays of the sun are different in the morning and different at night, and your body triggers more melatonin at night because of the sunlight rays during sunset. So if you watch the sunset, you'll have better sleep. And if you open the windows and you look at the sunlight in the morning, you'll wake up better.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, yeah. To also show you there's so many things happening in the background.
Yeah, our nature, our environment is like really affecting
our
us.
Our skin is like so intelligent. It's an organ. It's so intelligent. It's able to decipher all these different things.
Yeah, our eyeballs are deciding it.
And the eyeballs, yeah.
So I love walking in the evening when like the sun is setting. It's relaxing to me, and that kind of makes sense. Like maybe I'm like producing melatonin, lowering my cortisol, like relaxing because of the sunlight.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But TV can really mess with that afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure. So if you're like watching TV in a dark room, like before you're going to sleep, it can really have an effect on the melatonin produced and the overall like your body like
being able to sleep deeply. Yeah. I mean, you should transition back and forth between REM and non-REM sleep, and you won't get as much REM sleep if that TV is still on while you're asleep, and even if your eyelids are closed, it's like coming through your eyelids and
Yeah.
affecting your melatonin levels. Like the optimal amount of melatonin isn't produced, and your cortisol isn't lowering properly because the TV's on while you're sleeping. And so you end up staying somewhat insulin resistant, and melatonin's anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant, so you're not producing enough and you get inflammation as well. And so it's like actually affecting the underlying root issues of PCOS by not producing enough melatonin because the TV is on, or you're scrolling through your phone and like sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a tip I would give is, if this is possible for you, is like not have a TV in your bedroom. I used to have a TV in my bedroom when I lived with my parents, but like that's just because I'm living with my parents. But like now, like 100%, I don't think I'll ever bring a TV into the bedroom, just because like that we can watch in the living room, and then when we're done with it, like you go to the bedroom, at least like it's just dark and you don't have to like have that blue light in there.
That temptation. It's hard enough for me not to look at my phone at night, honestly. Like, I mean, I put the yellow tint, the night shift mode and everything, which helps. But not looking at a screen is pretty hard. And then if you have a TV in your room, you really like, if I'm laying in bed, I want to turn it on, like no matter what,
Of course.
So so these are the ways that it can affect a woman with PCOS. So consider this, and we're going to go into the different ways that you can help yourself and you can have a more strict nighttime routine and to sleep better. But before we go into that, let's talk about weight gain and how this affects our weight gain.
Yeah. So studies show that not getting enough sleep makes you 30% more insulin resistant the next day. And we all know high blood sugar stores as fat, and then more fat means weight gain.
So when we have insulin resistance, we're ending up taking up what we're eating and storing it as fat instead of burning it for energy. And then, so actually the study that I read said that if you get like 5 hours less of sleep throughout that week, you're 30% more insulin resistant. And there was even like blood work comparing the study of like somebody who slept well and then that same person who didn't sleep well, and how much more their blood sugar was affected. Like after they ate, their blood sugar wouldn't go back down because they were insulin resistant.
Yeah, it makes sense because when you have a night of really bad sleep and usually the next day you're like a little groggy, you're tired, and that's because your metabolism, your active metabolism is slower because your body is just doesn't have enough energy, and it doesn't have enough energy to break down food, doesn't have enough energy to fully recover. Everything is affected. So all around you're affected, including your metabolism.
So many things affect our insulin resistance. We've had so many episodes on different things that affect us.
Somebody running up our stairs.
No. We've had so many different things that affect insulin resistance. There's the food we eat, what time we eat, how we pair our food, and now sleep. We have to have like a really strict, hold on our lives to really heal this issue. I mean, when I say strict, I don't mean like be super restrictive, like Nazi with yourself, but just be aware that these things affect your ability to lose weight as well. Your cortisol levels go up even higher when you don't get good sleep. Your ghrelin hormone goes up and triggers hunger.
What's the ghrelin hormone?
This is the hunger hormone. It tells you when you're hungry. So then like now that's being triggered because you didn't sleep well.
Interesting.
And then leptin, the hormone that tells you that you're full, is also like not being sensitive enough. And that's you never feel full.
Yeah. That's your fat thermostat, right? That tells you when you have enough food so that you stop craving food, and then, your body can effectively digest and, use food for energy. Yeah. But when your leptin is affected, then that motor is not the motor that controls, the hormone that controls.
Motor. It is a motor.
Yeah. It's completely affected. So then you don't know whether you should eat more or not.
Right. We even did a podcast episode on gluten and how it's affected by leptin and how that causes leptin resistance as well. So it's sleep, it's gluten, it's everything.
Yeah.
So isn't it interesting how all of these components play a role in our PCOS?
Your PCOS, not mine.
In PCOS. People who are chronically sleep deprived are at much higher risk of all types of autoimmune diseases, according to one study.
But truly, yes, like sleep does affect so many people, but especially when with PCOS. But like it's sleep, like that branch of effectiveness of sleep, like goes to everybody in the world.
Yeah. I mean, there was that one podcast you kept talking about, and I remember we were dating and you were really into it.
Yes.
Because
So
you had awful sleep, so you got paranoid after listening to this podcast episode.
yeah. So before Tali and I got married, I actually was like driving like hour and a half each way to work, and like I was also going to school to become an engineer, and like as a result I was just having really bad sleep. So if any of you know Joe Rogan Experience podcast, he had this doctor on. His name is Dr. Matthew Walker, and he's an expert on sleep. I believe he's a neuroscientist, and he focuses on sleep, if I'm not mistaken. But in the podcast, he went over all like the effectiveness or how like sleep affects your body, your brain, and it really like it scared the crap out of me. I found the key takeaways from that podcast, and I just want to read some of those because it's really truly eye-opening. So in the podcast, here's some of the quotes. He says, 1 hour of iPhone use before bed will delay the onset of melatonin production by about 3 hours.
That's a lot.
So
Just 1 hour before bed.
yeah, 3 hours it delays it by. And it
Wow.
says your peak melatonin levels will also be about 50% less. So not only is it coming
Wow.
on later, the amount that's actually coming is 50% less too. Men who sleep 5 to 6 hours a night will have a level of testosterone 6 to 10 years their senior.
I
So-
mean, you're yelling at women, but
No,
that also
but, like-
relates to women, the effect it has on your hormones.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like any of you who have like maybe a partners, husbands, boyfriends, tell them if they're not getting good sleep, like this is how it can affect them. But it's like it just goes to show you how it affects hormones.
Yeah.
Sorry
Oh,
for yelling.
directly affects your hormones.
Sorry for yelling about testosterone. It was like surprising. And there's an interesting note here. It says that there's a small fraction, less than 1% of the population, that has a certain gene that allows them to survive on 5 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah, there are people like
But just so you know, you are more likely to be struck by lightning than to have this
Oh
gene.
my God.
With the red side next to it. So like if you think that's you, just know that first. But
I
I'll
know
stop
one
there.
person
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I do too actually. My cousin's like that. And I mean there's so many more facts here.
What? I see the word leptin on your phones.
So leptin and ghrelin, it says both control appetite and weight. Leptin tells our brain we're full, like we said earlier, and ghrelin does the opposite. It's the hunger hormone. With less sleep, leptin gets suppressed and ghrelin gets ramped up. People sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night will on average eat 200 to 300 extra calories each day.
Wow.
This equates to 70,000 extra calories each year,
Wow.
which translates into 10 to 15 pounds of extra body mass. Again, his name is Dr. Matthew Walker. And if you want to listen to the podcast he did, it was on Joe Rogan Experience. I think, let me find the podcast number is 1109. That's crazy. Joe Rogan has done 1,100 podcasts. I think he's done more now,
amazing.
but
We've been 22.
yeah, no, we'll be there one day. I promise you.
Yeah. But that's awesome. That's definitely something I have to listen to.
Yeah. Oh, wait, just one more last thing, and I
Tell
promise I'll be done. And this is the reason why I was talking about like other mental illnesses that you can develop due to lack of sleep. So it says here, during deep sleep at night, there is a sewage system in the brain
Ew.
that cleanses the brain of all the metabolic toxins that have accumulated throughout the day. One of those toxins is beta amyloid, which is responsible for the underlying mechanism of Alzheimer's disease. The less you sleep, the more this plaque builds up.
Plaque.
This is what scared the hell out of me. Now I'm
Oh
reliving
my
everything.
God.
I'm reliving everything he was saying. This is exactly what he talked about, the plaque. And I was like, there's plaque. So insufficient sleeps is the most significant lifestyle factor for determining whether or not you'll develop Alzheimer's disease. Insufficient sleep is linked to bowel, prostate, and breast cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
The WHO has decided to classify any form of nighttime shift work as a probable carcinogen.
Oh my God.
I'm yelling. Shift workers have higher rates of obesity, diabetes, and cancer. I'm going to stop now before I have a heart attack.
You're going to have to stop now because some of the people listening are nurses and shift workers.
I'm so sorry if that scared you. This
But don't be
scared me when I
scared.
heard about this. I mean, if you're still getting your good sleep and you're doing everything you can, it's okay. Just know that there are these things.
That's true. But you know what? There are other things you can do to help you with sleeping better for the amount of time that you have to sleep. Because not everyone has like 8 hours like us during quarantine. Mm-hmm. So one of the things is getting light in the morning and at night.
Yeah. Well, let's put a better start to this portion. So we talked about all the bad things, all the things that lack of sleep can do, but now we're gonna talk about what can we do to avoid all of this.
Okay, fine.
And sleep good and make sure our bodies are recovering and they're okay to move on the next day.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Getting light in the morning and at night. So maybe planning your daily walk at night, or if you have pets, like walking them before the sun sets. I don't mean like night when it's black outside. I mean like when the sun's setting, to get those rays, to get melatonin to produce better. Mm-hmm. And then in the morning, maybe going on a little morning walk, getting some sunlight to get your cortisol up so you can wake up better. You can also schedule your sleep time before or around 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Which is ideal. I mean, yeah, definitely. What time do we sleep? Like 11:30?
We usually get in bed around 11 or 11:30, and then we'll be asleep before probably 12, I would say, and then we wake up at like 8. So. Yeah.
But I like when we sleep a little bit earlier than that. Like I feel better, honestly.
I know, but it's hard to get in that last episode of Monk when you just. We're on a Monk craze right now. We've been watching Monk recently.
Seriously, I love that show.
Season 2 right now.
Getting 7 to 8 hours a night is also great. And also starting to relax leading up to bedtime and avoiding screens and not watching Monk.
Yeah. If possible, true. If possible, put your phone away. Like by 10, just put it on the charger. And if there's no reason to look at it, I mean, who are you texting after 10?
Well, some people are texting people.
It's true. But, just put it away, and if you can, and just try to focus. I mean, even the TV, if it's like far away in the living room before 11, before you're going to go, like an hour, you're going to go to sleep, try to watch a little TV. And then if not, maybe read a book or, do something more relaxing. Meditation is really a lot better. Just something, whatever you can do to put away the screens, the TV, including the TV as much as possible.
I like to flip through cookbooks.
Yeah.
I like to read a meditation magazine. Yeah. And then that helps me avoid screens. But I mean, I'm not that good at it, so I'm going to work on it. I'm saying it on this podcast right now.
Me too, We do usually, like watch TV until like maybe 10:30, 11, and then we turn it off. But maybe we should do it a little sooner.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
All right. Meditation. We do that.
100%. We've been doing, so I'm sure most of you know, like meditation through Calm, Headspace. Check them out. They have some free offers these days, and they provide some great service. We've been using this Wim Hof method.
Wim Hof.
That's his name, Wim Hof.
It's really cool.
HOFF. Just search Hof method, and like it's like this whole breathing technique, and like he like talks you through it, and he has like this accent, so it's like really interesting to listen to his voice. He's like, "There you go," and I'm just like, "Yeah, bro, I got you." And it's like it's really fun. So
I feel so good afterwards, better than I ever felt after a meditation.
Yeah, it's
because of breathing.
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, yeah, that's all.
I was just gonna say, exactly that. Like you're getting so much oxygen, your ATP levels are going up, and like your body is so happy to have all this oxygen.
Yeah, is that what? Yeah,
that's really what it's doing. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I remember he said something about ATP.
Yeah,
and then there's CBD. OMG.
This one is really interesting because we knew from the studies and stuff that CBD helps with sleep. It really helps people sleep better and go to sleep and get relaxed at night. What we didn't know was what the actual results will be, because in the sisterhood, as you guys know, we have the sisterhood, our membership, and one of the sisters, she screenshotted. I think she has a tracking device. And the tracking device tracks how much she sleeps and how much REM sleep, your deep REM sleep, which is like I think the most important portion of your sleep to recover and have energy the next day. So it tracks how much percentage of her sleep is the deep REM sleep. So babe, do you want to read the differences from before she took CBD and after she took CBD?
Yes. So she says that she goes, this is with CBD last night. 2 hours and 5 minutes of REM sleep.
With CBD, right?
With CBD, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Without CBD, before, was 45 minutes of REM sleep.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
When I read that, I think that was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I was so surprised.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it.
Just from taking CBD, she had more REM sleep.
It's more than double.
Good she feels waking up because of getting more REM sleep.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. So CBD is a great option. And I mean, we should mention, as we always do, Pure Spectrum CBD. We're affiliated with Pure Spectrum CBD because they offer the full spectrum cannabinoid in their CBD products.
Yes.
So you can go check them out. We'll have a link in the description of the podcast. And if you use the code The Sisterhood, one word, you get 10% off. So check them out. You can order it today.
Yeah. And help you sleep better.
Yeah.
And then rosebud tea, rosehip tea, rosebud tea, same thing. It really helps lower cortisol. Stay calm. It's one of my favorite nighttime
We drink
teas.
it almost every night.
Yeah.
And we'll link that one in the podcast description too, and from Amazon, so you could get that one yourself and maybe have a drink on us tonight.
And then I read that essential oils like lavender in a diffuser can really help you set the tone for like relaxation at night.
Oh, is lavender one of those?
Yeah, it's one of those like sleep time
That's
smells.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And of course, a melatonin supplement. You know, if you're really, really struggling with going to sleep, melatonin can help. And so this is something I read in PCOS SOS. Women with PCOS have high levels of melatonin already, but there's a problem with the melatonin receptor site. It's not like working properly, basically. And the good news is when you supplement with melatonin, you can fall asleep better, longer, faster. But the book says that there's low melatonin in our ovary follicles where melatonin helps promote healthy eggs. So when you supplement with melatonin before bedtime for 6 months, according to one study, these women menstruated more regularly and had better egg quality and reduced testosterone levels because of sleeping better because of taking melatonin. So of course, consult your doctor. I think melatonin is over the counter. You have one. Yeah.
I haven't taken it in a long time, but yeah, I used to order, I think, from Amazon too. We can link one in the bio too. That's good.
Yeah, we'll link one. And yeah, basically just taking a low dose 2 hours before bedtime can trigger your body's transition into sleep mode. And
awesome.
Yeah, if like none of those things are really getting you to sleep better, because we're going to read some DMs, some messages from sisters on what they do to sleep better. But one of the sisters said that none of those things worked and melatonin was the only thing that did work.
Yeah. I remember for me too, melatonin, like I would take it and it would really get me sleepy, and you just have to make sure you take it at the right time, like before, like maybe like a half an hour or an hour before you're about to like sleep, you want to sleep, so that you time it correctly.
Right. So let's go into the first one. Flannery Mackin says melatonin is what she does to sleep better. This was the sticker that I posted about what sisters are doing. So that's great. Palaksadwani says, watch the screen until my eyes get tired. Okay.
Yeah, that's like I've been there where like you just can't sleep, so you're on your phone and like your eyes are burning. It's just that just prolongs the time until you fall asleep.
Takes to fall asleep.
Try to avoid that. If you can, just read a book. Honestly,
a
book always puts me to sleep.
Yeah,
promise you that.
And you can even sleep better, like if you aren't looking at the screen and you don't even know it, because you know. Apple RBN says melatonin at night, drinking sleepy time tea. Maggie Pie says bath and aromatherapy. Some nice oils.
Adams MA says CBD gummies. Love it. Again, CBD is great. And make sure the CBD you take, it has the full spectrum of CBD. Just I like to always tell people, like, when you get CBD, not all CBD is equal because they don't all have the full spectrum of cannabinoids. Therefore, you don't get all the helpful compounds. So always make sure that it's the full spectrum of it. But I'm great. I'm sorry. I'm very happy you're taking CBD.
Yeah. Another sister says herbal tea. Another sister says breath work, like we said, Wim Hof.
Yeah.
The Wim Hof breath work. The Calm app.
Oh, there we go.
CBD
Nice.
oil, lavender oil.
Nice.
Magnesium, relaxing music.
CBD and melatonin.
Oh, I like this one. Eating more calories helps me feel better so I can sleep better.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Maybe you're getting the calories that your body actually needs.
Yeah.
So your metabolism is at the rate it needs to be.
Right.
Then your body is more balanced.
Right.
Good job.
Awesome.
I see a lot of CBD oil. Braveheart says CBD oil. Alice Paris says CBD. And thanks to you, magnesium too. Nice. Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
So, and somebody said XOXO says play some relaxing music and sleep.
Love that.
That is good stuff. That is always good stuff. I remember I used to play System of a Down when I was like 13 years old. For me, it was when I was 13 years old. I would play it in like the cassette players or whatever I had back then. I don't know what it was. Funny. And I would fall asleep like that. Toxicity.
Last night I was playing like Latin music and Sidak's like, I can't.
It was like we're about to go to bed, and I'm like, you were like, okay, Google, play whatever it was, La Bamba, and then I was like, come on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So to finish off our podcast, we're gonna read the win.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to read this one?
Win of the week, yes, for a sister who's been managing her PCOS like a boss.
Like a boss.
And we like to always highlight those who are doing great and inspire those in the sisterhood and on Instagram or listening here on the podcast that you can all overcome PCOS and reverse your symptoms and lose weight. Okay.
Chantal Moody.
Yes. I'm just gonna take off the hat right now.
Take off your hat. Oh my God, his hair.
Okay.
It's like a bomb.
Alrighty. Let's do this.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure, you can read it.
Hello, I'm 18 years old and was diagnosed with PCOS about 4 months ago. My doctor told me I was going to start birth control. To fix it, I wanted to find out more about PCOS first. I searched the internet and found out the basics, I guess, and then I searched PCOS on Instagram and came across your page. I found your page, and since then I have been following your tips and have been so many stories and experiences I didn't know other people had, and I've followed your exercise plans and I've lost 25 pounds in 3 months. Still losing weight and cutting out dairy and gluten have made a big difference in how I feel mentally and how my body is feeling physically. Thank you for starting this page and making it easy to learn more about my condition not so many people know about.
That is
you
great.
Guys. So then I followed up with her. So that was like in September.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not okay.
So then the other day I followed up with her. I'm like, hey girl, how's it going? Like, you sent this great testimonial. Like, how are you doing still? She's like, oh my gosh, I've been doing so well. I've been gluten and dairy free since October. I've lost a total of 60 pounds since starting this diet change. And I've gotten down to 155. And, the hardest part is being gluten free, but mostly I'm finding stuff and so on and so forth. That was our conversation. Isn't that amazing? She lost 60 pounds.
It's just about consistency, right? And the numbers just add up, and like whatever the goal is, you'll eventually get there, because it's not about like getting there right away, or it's not a race. It's your body, it's your life, it's your journey, and you go at the pace you're comfortable with, and the consistency, like she did, boom, like
kumbaya. And
she did it really healthy too. Like we always
slowly,
say, there's you should not do something that's not sustainable, or like that's gonna give you the quick, like this much. You just want to do it slowly, and just like she did. I think it's perfect. Yeah,
this was awesome. I love following up with sisters from before.
Yeah, just so all these sisters know, we love to like talk to you now and in the future, like throughout your journey. Like we love to always keep in touch with you and see how you're doing. If we need to help, we're always here to help.
Yeah, keep messaging us. We're always in the DMs.
Yeah. So I think I covered this episode, right?
Yes.
PCOS and sleep, the wins. And, we always love to support everybody. Thank you for always listening. And
we love you.
Yeah. Keep on following us on Instagram, a sister and her mister, and PCOS.weightloss. And, if you enjoy the podcast, subscribe, leave a review, and,
talk to you soon.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come check out the Sisterhood. It's my monthly membership site where sisters just like you are learning how to move through the stages of PCOS. From stage 1, cold and alone at the doctor's office, to stage 5, nailing the PCOS lifestyle, gluten and dairy free. Get ready to finally feel in control of your body again.